Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Oh, yeah. If you're not paying attention to what's going on with silver, let me fill you in. Silver has jumped up $1.40 today and still seems to be climbing. We'll go over that here in just a moment, plus a couple of things that business owners should consider, especially small business owners. Before we get going, though, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and you know I am forever grateful when you do that. Speaking of gold and silver, now is the time to buy the shine. I've been telling you, buy that stuff on the dip, because when gold and silver takes off, it takes off. Now, are we at that point? Oh, I think we're getting there, that's for sure, if we're not there already. So, when you go to buy your gold and silver, give a consideration to our friends over there at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you're a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you'll get a free half ounce of silver. I brought this up before and I'll bring it up again, and that is anytime I come across some deals that I think you guys out there could benefit from, I'm going to share it with you. This here is Washington Street Drawers. Gentleman's name is Eric. You can see the phone number down here, 209-532-1820. Give him a call. He is offloading some gold and silver right now. You definitely want to get it now. He's trying to accumulate some funds for a different deal altogether. So he's willing to offload some gold and silver on a pretty good deal. So reach out to Eric. Tell him Pimpy sent you. He'll make sure to give you a pretty good deal. A real quick glimpse into cryptocurrencies. Looky here. Bitcoin is very close to getting up to $24,000. Like I said, high tide lifts all ships. Bitcoin at $23,989. Look at Ethereum. Wow. Remember when it dropped down briefly below $1,000? Look at this. Ethereum, $1,741.48. XRP finally broke the 35-cent level, sitting at 37 cents. Cardano, 51 cents. Solana, $42.48. Dogecoin, still around 6 cents. Polkadot, $7.63. Polygon is at 95 cents. Shiba's at 4012, getting back up there. So it's nice to see a lot of cryptos in the green. Solana is up over 15%. That's a nice little jump there. But Bitcoin is up 10% and Ethereum is up 15%. Look, if you're going to grab one of those cryptos and try to ride it back up, definitely want Ethereum. I told you it will always outperform Bitcoin. Luna is at 30102. It continues to slowly sneak up. Look at Saitama, 0.0042, and it continues to climb. It's up over 25% today. That's a nice jump. Russian ruble went down just a little bit. It's at 0.016. Not sure why. Russia and China are going to be announcing, along with Saudi Arabia, Turkey, India, all those people who hate the United States, that they have their own reserve currency. And the rumor is it will be gold back. Look at this. Silver almost at $20 today. If we're looking at the hour-by-hour chart, you can see here since last night, when silver hit, what is that, 1849? And now it's at 1995? So that's almost $1.50 now. Yeah, and it's just going to keep climbing. You heard the video that I did showing you Andy Shipman talking about a billionaire buying a lot of gold and silver. And she said that's only one purchase. Over the next 6 months, she's going to make anywhere from $300 million to $1 billion in purchases. You can hear Andy talk about it himself. But hopefully you guys jumped on silver before it started to go up. Let's see if it maintains that climb. Gold at $1,753. It is up $18.30. So over the last week, gold has went from $1,685 on up to $1,752. They're starting to make their move, you guys, and they're doing it semi-quietly. Anyways, gold at $1,753.10. Shout out to Economic Ninja again. He did a great interview with Andy Shipman. But I want you to hear part of it because Andy brings up a couple of points. And it's something you should be taking into consideration if you're sitting around procrastinating about gold and silver. Let's listen in.
I want to share something with everybody because I've been talking about, I believe that we're going to see some continued weakness in gold and silver because of a strengthening dollar, because our stock market's collapsing, right? Just like 2008. But with that being said, you shared this, and this person is an elitist. I want people to understand that you are in the 1% if you have that much money, but that's not it. This person wanted to make a point and tell the world that big money is about to move in. And it sounds like this person is planning on layering in possible more purchases, correct?
That's correct. We were told that anywhere between 300 million and $1 billion within the next 6 months.
Lots of people on the internet spoke about the story of this lady who's a billionaire, who reached out over there to Miles Franklin and wanted to buy $50 million worth of gold and silver. Andy tells a story that she only wants American-made products, and he had to scrape around to other retailers to help fill her order. Think about this. Andy had 92,000 ounces of silver over there in her vault, and she wiped it out. Then he had to reach out to other retailers and then get their allocations. That's just on one order. I said that, in my opinion, I thought that would put a lot of stress on an already stressful silver gold market. There's not enough physical gold and silver out there. What this lady's going to end up doing is exposing all that. We know that banks are trying to cover their shorts. Andy's going to tell you right now, they're not just trying to cover shorts on silver, gold, nickel, copper. So those are the other metals that everybody should be considering investing into. Not the paper, the physical, okay? Now understand, if you're going to invest into physical copper, you're going to need a lot of room. But if you go over to Money Metals, they do sell 35-pound bags of pennies. So that's something you should take in consideration.
She didn't have any problem with me saying that at all.
Thank you to whoever you are for having the guts to do that.
I don't know what to think. You know, like I said, I thought the $50 million deal was never going to happen, and it did. And again, this is in no way doubting Bill's sincerity. He believed it to be true from moment one. I've just been around the block so long that, you know, it's happened 5,000 times where you get these kind of you know, I'm going to do this, and it never happens. So anyway, she says within the next 6 months, a massive estate is settling, and her inheritance will be many times what she's talking about spending. Very wealthy family, and she wants to put between 300 million and $1 billion into silver and gold within the next 6 months. So
it's incredible. So, you know, that's actually along the lines of what I'm going to speak at Silver Symposium in a month is what I am expecting to see bigger money moving in, because people are starting to wake up to the fact that inflation's rearing its ugly head. It ain't going away because the Fed ain't going to do enough about it. But also now let's transition to this next story about China and Russia.
Real quick before we get into this, she says she's waiting on her inheritance. So here's my question. Does she have any siblings? Because if she does, and they start talking about, if she starts talking to them about what it is she's doing, they might consider the same thing. They might say, hey, that might be a great idea for us as well. You get one or two more siblings making the same type of purchase that this lady is, man, it's just going to cause gold and silver to take off. They're not going to be able to manipulate the price of gold and silver when you have people putting that kind of stress on the market. And it's just one lady right now that's doing this. And she said big money is getting ready to move into the market. Well, how does she know that unless she spoke to maybe her other siblings or other friends that have a lot of money? So she's anticipating huge money moving into gold and silver. Okay? So what does that mean for you? You better get your butt in there and start buying now before they gobble it all up.
Because this is absolutely massive and coming in a 50-year cycle to when Nixon took us off the gold standard, when Saudi Arabia inked that original deal, then they walked away and went with Russia. This is a dollar killer, in my opinion. What do you think?
It's everything I've been talking about since September of 2021. You sent me the article. I'll never forget it. And like that, the light went off in my head. You sent me the article the day that it happened in September, the day we left Afghanistan, in a very unharmonious and embarrassing way. And when I ask people, what makes the dollar world reserve? 99% have no clue. But the answer has been since 1974, because Nixon closed the gold window, rendering it no longer backed by gold. that was what made it the world reserve currency. But when Kissinger inked the deal with Saudi Arabia for joint military cooperation, in essence, we will protect the Saudi kingdom for the privilege of having oil that is sold through OPEC, denominated globally in dollars. And for the last 50 years, every country on the planet has had to own dollars to buy oil.
You heard that. So Kissinger said we will provide military protection to Saudi Arabia in exchange that they agree to use the dollar in trade for oil for everybody, to giving the dollar its strength. But in case you forgot, Biden has been screwing with the Saudi family over Khashoggi, the reporter that was killed. And the speculation is that the prince had some people do it. So Biden has made some empty threats that fell on their ass. Then he had to run over there and kiss the prince's butt. He needed Saudi Arabia and OPEC people to produce more oil, not only for the United States, but also for the European countries. So Europe and the United States got a little too big for the britches. They started throwing their weight around and all their power, bullying people, trying to force them into this new world order, one world government, world economic forum, great reset agenda. Gold and silver is your ticket to freedom. Until we can figure out what's going on, or this is going to be crazy to say, unless we get saved by Russia and China, and they do release a new reserve currency and prevents this agenda from forcing us into the central bank digital currency. Now, the joke would be on me if all of a sudden we find out that it is the CBDC that they're forcing us into. That would just totally suck.
The fact that Saudi Arabia signed a military cooperation agreement with Russia, the next day Nigeria did it, the two biggest OPEC producing countries. Subsequently, we've seen Nigeria agree to sell their oil to China for yuan. We've seen Saudi Arabia in talks, and they're more or less selling their oil to China for yuan. By the way, those yuan payments are in a bond denominated, a Chinese yuan denominated petro bond that is immediately convertible into gold on the Shanghai Gold Exchange. You want to talk about Iran getting around sanctions? Sell your oil to China for a bond denominated in yuan, converted into gold. And who just joined the BRICS nations? Oh, that's right. Iran did too. So when you talk about how big this is.
All those people who are being sanctioned by the United States, punished for one reason or another. So people like Iran, Turkey, you're going to start seeing all these countries partnering up with China and Russia and joining this other reserve currency to avoid any sanctions by the United States. I told you the United States was getting too big for the britches, too big. And they were trying to force their way onto everybody. So we went from being the beacon of light and freedom to the weapon of one world order. If they're backing their currency with gold and silver, you better have gold and silver, man.
Trav, that when you look at an economy that's been blown to sky high proportions because of low interest rates and or asset prices that have been blown to sky high valuations because of low interest rates and easy money, they talk about a great reset. How does it happen? It's in the fragility of this decision. If OPEC leaves, or excuse me, if Saudi Arabia leaves and joins the BRICS, like it appears they're going to, and you have China and Russia coalescing to make a new currency as a world reserve currency. If Saudi Arabia were to say, you know, it's been a nice run, but we're being protected in essence by China and Russia now, we've decided to join the BRICS nations, we're going to open up oil purchases to other currencies, to gold, to the yuan, to the rupee, to the ruble, like that, bang. All those dollars come flooding home. And when those dollars come flooding home, it does the dirty work for the Federal Reserve for them. It pushes interest rates to the moon. And then you have stocks, bonds, and real estate that are inversely correlated to that. I think this is the central biggest thing, because the Federal Reserve will not get tough on inflation. They won't. Nope. They won't be the ones that ended the American dream. I think this is the most important thing that we've seen maybe in all of our lifetimes, who have lived above all of our, perhaps above our standards that we are entitled to, maybe because of the good graces of our foreign creditors and the petrodollar reserve status, both of which seem to be disappearing.
Let me jump in there because I don't know if you know this, but Saudi Arabia, I believe they've already made it happen, because they made an announcement last month that they are considering joining the BRICS nations. And to me, that is your shot across the bow. That's the softening announcement. It's happening. I believe it's going to come in 30 days or less. with that being said, you brought up the Chinese yuan gold denominated bond. I love that because this is essentially what I believe is going to happen between Russia and China. They come up with a new currency, whatever they want to name it, right? They back it with, I believe they're going to see before January, they're going to announce we're going to back it in gold. Why do I think that? China and Russia have been aggressively buying gold for well over a decade. So now what do you think about that scenario? And if that happens?
Ooh, if Economic Ninja is right, I want you to think about this. If he's right, you got between now and the fall season to start stocking up on your gold and silver. If it's already taken off like it is right now, and I don't know if that's temporary or if this is the start of a huge run for gold and silver because of what this lady is doing. Now, I think somebody said to me, no one person can change the market that much. Oh, yeah? Yes, they can. You see, I've been preaching all along, there's not enough gold and silver out there, along with other precious metals. So if this woman is wiping out somebody like Miles Franklin, their entire inventory on the retailer side, well, then you're going to see retailer side really start to put the squeeze on silver. I don't know if they're going to restrict the amount of silver that retailers can have from now on, but the point is, it is going to start squeezing the physical market, and it looks like it already is. So we'll see what happens from there.
And they come because it's literally now North America, including Canada, and the euro, all right, failing economies against everybody else. How do you think that's going to play out?
First of all, that everybody else represents nearly 80 to 85% of human population. Secondly, you're right. China, Russia, India, South Africa. You're talking the biggest producers and accumulators of gold in the world. There's no coincidence that gold was reclassified a tier 1 reserve asset, the only other one next to US dollars in 2019. And if you look at the European countries that are also massively accumulating gold, Turkey, Czech Republic, Poland, Hungary, these are all the countries that are part of the euro, but all trade in their own currency.
Yeah, remember in 2019, we were talking back then about how all of a sudden gold is now a tier 1 asset all over again. And I said, that means something. That's big. That means that the central banks and all the other banks need to have a ton of gold. They have to be holding them. And that's why we're seeing since then a record amount of gold being bought by these banks. There is something definitely heading that direction.
They could very easily say, we're going to join the BRICS nations too. Thanks, it's been a good run. The Chinese digital yuan has done over 12 billion in successful transactions in the last year. What better test run could you have? And instead of, I mean, you have the perfect reason to come and issue a central bank digital currency pegged to gold and use the distributed ledger technology to show the veracity of that gold that all of the nations have pledged their gold to. I think it is 100% going to happen. I've been saying this for over a year too. I think there's no question in my mind that before the music stops, the BRICS nations will all coalesce and issue a gold-backed currency on the back of the success of the digital yuan. And
that's not what we want. You do not want 100% digital token. I don't care how much gold backs it. A digital crypto is one thing, but I don't want the central bank digital currency.
It is the beginning of the end very quickly for the US dollar, certainly as the singular world reserve currency. And that's another thing that you alerted me to. What did Fed Chairman Powell say? Well, geez, I think there's probably room for more than one world reserve currency. So
that's him telling you it's coming.
Yes.
So it looks like it's not just coming, it's here. I remember catching so much slack from a lot of subscribers when I said, look, the US dollar is dying, is dead. You need to start looking for alternative investments, ways to protect yourself against the dollar. Gold has always been that hedge against not just inflation, but against a dying dollar. People are like, man, Pimpy, it's never going to die. It's the greatest dollar. And you're an anti-patriot if you support that. So what do we got going on right now? This is why I think it's important right now for if businesses are going to try to survive what's coming up, and they're already saying we're in a recession, but we're expecting a depression. Businesses should seriously start considering finding a way to allocate some of your profits into gold and silver for a rainy day. It's a great way to protect yourself and your business. It's there for you to fall back when you need it. I think it should be the foundation of all companies, especially if you are a small business. You should be doing whatever it takes to protect your company. A lot of businesses failed because they were not set up to fall back on something. So this would be the time, buy the shine, go to our friends over there at Money Metals, or reach out to Eric over there at Washington Drawers. Right now is a good time to pick up some affordable gold and silver before it gets way out of hand. Anyways, that's it for now. I will get at you later. I'm out.